I'll proceed.
Oh, yeah, good to go. Please, let's start.
Can we proceed?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
All right. So, good morning, everyone. Once again, good morning, Toastmasters and guests. Oh, I can't hear the feedback. Oh, okay.
Morning.
I actually thought something was wrong with my audio. So, good morning. Special shout out to Toastmaster Ned. It's been a while. How are you doing?
I'm very well, sir. Thank you.
Well, great. So you're welcome once again to meeting of today. And of course, I knew you guys we had a wonderful holiday last week. So I believe we are all charging and fresh. We are bustling. And it's a wonderful Saturday once again. And one of our meetings between the Lighthouse Toastmasters and Lighthouse Prestige Toastmasters. Without wasting our time, as it is our custom, we start by reading our Toastmasters Promise, which I'll be displaying in a moment. Sorry, just a second, please. Sorry, please. Okay. Just confirm when you say it. Can you say it, please? Can we all see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So we read Toastmasters Promise after the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. As a member of Toastmasters International, my club.
Documents.
Yes,
I promise.
What's showing?
Sorry, sorry. Let me confirm. Can you see?
We can see your document.
We are sharing the entire thing. We can see your document. All those your hidden things. You can see them.
Oh, apologies. Sorry, please. Sorry. To share something. Sorry, just a moment, please. Can I see it now?
Yes.
Okay. Apologies for that. So can we take the promise after the count of 2? 1, 2. As a member of Toastmasters International, my club, I promise to attend club meetings regularly, to prepare all of my projects to the best of my ability, basing them on the Toastmasters education program, to prepare for and fulfill meeting assignments, provide fellow members helpful, constructive evaluations, to help the club maintain a positive, friendly environment
necessary for all members
to learn and grow,
to serve my
serve
club
my club as an officer when called upon to do so.
To treat my
fellow club members and our guests with respect and courtesy.
bring guests
club meet so they can see the benefit Toastmaster membership
offers. So adhere to the guidelines
and rules for all recognition program.
To act within Toastmasters
core values of integrity, respect, service, and excellence during the conduct of all Toastmaster activities.
Thank you very much. So help me God. Yes. So without wasting our time, I'll be inviting somebody I respect so much, somebody I admire the way he speaks. I've known him for quite a for a while now. He's the president of Lighthouse Prestige Toastmaster. He's an engineer. He loves playing football and he has a passion for influencing people positively. And I must say, he has influenced me positively as well. So I'll be inviting to the virtual lectern Toastmaster Salif Mohammed. Toastmaster Salif Mohammed, please take over the lectern.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Samson.
Oh,
Toastmaster...
sorry.
Toastmaster Salif will be available this morning. So I will be giving the feature speech on his behalf. However, I thank you for that wonderful introduction. I hope that, everything you just said, I kind of wish it was me, but it's not, but I'll get there. So today, we're talking about being limitless. I will quickly introduce myself. My name is Abubakar Gimba, and I'm the Secretary of Lighthouse Prestige. In the last administration, I was the Sergeant at Arms. You see, we've all been lied to. We've been told lies. I'm not talking about the kind of lies you hear on TV by the politicians or the kind of lies you hear from scammers. I'm talking about lies from people that matter the most to us, our family, our friends, our relatives. See, especially when we were growing up. I remember a particular lie I was told when VCD came out, the VCD player. It was so fascinating to me that instead of using a big box of cassettes to put inside a video player to watch something, you only use a CD, one small disc like that, and you have to handle it very delicately. So it was fascinating to me that you just put it on the disc plate and it plays what you want. I like to touch that open and close button. Whenever I press it, I like how the tray comes out and then it goes back in. So I was assigned as the CD master of the house. So one time I was talking to my dad, I asked him, why is it that I always put this CD facing down? Why can't it face up? So my dad just started laughing. He said, come on, that's crazy. Why would you do that? A CD is meant to be used facing down, no any other way. And so I said, okay. Fast forward to a few years later, I discovered that in Japan, there was a technology that allows you to use a CD facing both downwards and upwards. When you're done, you turn it around and you use it. And my dad told me that it's not possible, but here it is. I could have blown if not because of him, because that was my idea. So these lies, they put a limit to us. They make us believe that there's a limit you can reach and you can't go higher than that. It makes us have this constrictive idea of ourselves. And usually this stems from lack of knowledge. For instance, if I had known, or if we had known that there's actually a possibility of using that CD upside down, he wouldn't have stopped me from thinking like that. I probably would have gone ahead to think about, okay, let's see if we can even make it work facing sideways, So lack of knowledge. Now, imagine if you can learn anything. Just think to yourself, imagine if you can learn anything at all, whatever it is you want to learn, you can quickly learn it, regardless of your learning behavior, your learning attitude, regardless of who you are or how you perceive yourself to be. Imagine learning to learn. Because in school, nobody teaches us how to learn. They teach us English, maths, social science, physics, but nobody really teaches us how to actually learn. We only do that by study groups, focus groups, individual learning, cramming. And Jim Quick, the world's leading scientist in brain development, said, there's no limit to you. As a human being, you have a vast potential that has never been fully explored before. It's all up to you. This very man said, if an egg is broken by an outside force, life ends. If an egg is broken by an inside force, life begins. Great things always begin from the inside. So Jim Quick is telling us, no, it starts from you, it's you. And he came up with a limitless model. It talks about motivation, mindset, and methods. We can all be limitless. It starts from us. Our mindset, usually, limited mindset is, I don't deserve it. I think it's too much. I can't make it happen. I don't know what to do. Limitless motivation, limited motivation is, you don't really know why you're doing what you're doing. You wake up in the morning, you don't want to go to work. You want to get paid. You want to do that project. You want to see that project done, but you don't want to do it. You don't really have that drive, that energy. Limited method talks about our methods of learning that we're used to. You cram, you see, you practice. Now, the limitless model tells us, no, change your mindset. Tell yourselves right now that I am limitless. Change your motivation. Find out your why. Why do you do what you do? Why do you wake up in the morning? Why do you go out? Is it because of your family, because of your friends, your kids? Find it. The last one, method, is a bit more difficult, but it can be done. There are so many methods of learning, so many methods that we can use. Talking about focus, study, memory, speed thinking, speed learning. He talks about meta learning. You can actually learn whatever it is you put your mind to. Just think about it. What do you want? You want to be rich? Learn how to be rich. You want to be broke? Learn it. You want to be a good public speaker? Learn. You want to start speaking Chinese? Learn Chinese. So there's nothing we cannot learn, and there's nothing we cannot do when we put our minds to it. In conclusion, I would have us know that our brains are not hard drives where you can just store information, store and you retrieve. No, our brains are muscles. When you train your muscle, it gets stronger. If you train your brain, it becomes better. There is no limit to what you can do. You think you can learn you can only learn 3-4 languages. There are people who have learned 10 languages, and who says you can't be that person? So let us make up our minds right now that we are limitless. Let us be limitless. Thank you very much. That's the end of my speech. The second part of my job today is to introduce the person who is going to be like the core for this meeting, the person who would drive this meeting. And this is somebody whom I admire a lot. He has been a runaway Toastmaster for a while. I'm glad he's back now, and it's good to see him play this role. Also, he joined in September 2019. He is a management consultant who loves hanging out with friends and reading. So we have that in common. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Toastmasters and guests, who am I talking about? Please, with a resounding, thunderous applause, please let us welcome Toastmaster Taye.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much, TM Abubakar Gimba, right, for that wonderful, wonderful and stirring speech. I learned something from that speech, and you showed that a way to begin taking advantage of our limitless potential is to ask questions, just like you asked your dad, right? Can this city work upside down? So thanks a lot for that wonderful stirring speech. So I want to take this opportunity to welcome every one of us to this wonderful Toastmasters meeting on this Saturday. This is one of the best places you could be at this point in time. So I will be introducing the general evaluator who I'll be working with today to organize and coordinate the meeting. So the person who would handle that role is TM Jayola Koka. TM Jayola is a financial consultant who joined Toastmasters in 2019. He has earned the Best Speaker Award and loves having fun. Right, before I hand over the virtual lectern to him, I would want to ask a quick favor from each one of us. I want us to share the link to this meeting with a friend, maybe on WhatsApp or your WhatsApp status or something. Just try to share it with someone so that they can join in and participate in this meeting and learn just like you would also. Welcome, TM Jayola Koka.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests. The purpose of the general evaluator is to evaluate everything that takes place throughout the meeting. During the meeting, I'll take note of everything that happens and doesn't happen. I'll evaluate each participant on the meeting program and look for good examples of preparation, organization, delivery, enthusiasm, observation, and performance of duty. And at the end of the meeting, I'll give my report. I will not be doing this alone. I have team members that will assist me in fulfilling my obligations. and I'll be introducing them one after the other. I'll start by introducing the timekeeper, because I think timing is very critical, especially in this day and age. The timekeeper of the day is Toastmaster Chris Anaele. He joined Toastmasters January 2020. He's a sales professional who loves swimming, traveling, and reading. Please welcome to the virtual lectern, Toastmaster Chris Anaele. Toastmaster Chris, you have 2 minutes to explain your role.
Thank you so much, TM Jayola. Thank you, fellow Toastmasters and guests. My name is Christopher Anaele. I will be your timekeeper today. So my role basically is to make sure that we keep to time and speak within those time. For the table topics, which are 2 minutes, I'll be showing different cards for us to be able to know what time it is. Once it's 2 minutes, I'll be showing the green card. Can you see my screen? Can we see my screen, guys?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Okay, great. So, and once it's 2 minutes, 30 seconds, I'll be showing the yellow card. And once it's 1 minute, I'll be showing, once it's 1 minute, I'll be showing the green card. Once it's 1 minute, 30 seconds, I'll be showing the yellow card. And once it is 2 minutes, I'll be showing the red card. And for the prepared speeches, I'll do the same thing for them also, and also do it for speech evaluation. And at the end of the meeting, I'll give my report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, TM Chris Anaele. Okay, so introducing the timekeeper of the day was very strategic, because I would like all of us to speak within our time limits. So the next person I'll be introducing to the virtual lectern is the grammarian of the day. That's TM Chinedu Omenkuku. He is an IT professional who joined Toastmasters in 2018. He enjoys playing chess. I love playing chess. So maybe sometime we could meet him. And he has won Best Speaker Awards. Please welcome to the virtual lectern, TM Chinedu Omenkuku. TM Chinedu, you have 2 minutes to introduce the role. Thank you.
Thank you, the General Evaluator. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, good morning. Welcome to another interesting Toastmasters meeting. It's been a while I've been here, so I'm excited to play a role this morning. This morning, I'll be the grammarian. As the grammarian of the day, basically, I'll be looking at my responsibilities is to pay attention to the speakers, listening carefully for the language usage. I will also be taking notes of misuse of the language, and also pay attention to outstanding quotes, sayings, thoughts, and the likes. As the grammarian, it is also my duty to introduce the word of the day. The word of today is sub rosa. I hope you all can see my screen. The word of today is sub rosa. And the meaning is confidentiality, secretly, privately, anything done under the covers. In fact, sub rosa is coined from a Latin word, which literally means under the nose. So whatever you do secretly, sub rosa. A typical example of its use is in a sentence: he was allowed sub rosa to retake the exam. I encourage everybody to use the word of the day, and I look forward to, at the end of the meeting, the General Evaluator will call me out to give my reports, where I'll give my report on the grammar of the day and also on the use of the word of the day. Thank you very much. I'm excited to be here, and I look forward to a very interesting meeting. Thanks. Over to you, the General Evaluator.
So much. Thank you so much, grammarian of the day, TM Chinedu. Normally, I should have told you, Sub Rosa, that you should put on the chat box the word of the day, but I have to do it. I have to say it out to everyone so that you'll be able to do that. Please, can you put the word of the day on the chat box? Thank you so much. Next person I'll be introducing, another of my team member is the listening evaluator, who's by the name of TM Joy Cheyenne. She joined Toastmasters in 2019 and has won several contests at the club, division, and area levels. She loves reading and traveling. Yeah, there's you know, I think they should have written that she is a beautiful Toastmaster. Okay, let me not say that. All right, so the virtual lecture Toastmaster. Also, Joy, you have something to show.
Thank you very much, CN Jayola Koka, Mr. General Evaluator. I'm excited to be here, and I would say thank you to the compliment of being beautiful, even though you took it back. I am the listening evaluator for this meeting, and as the saying goes, being a good listener is just as good as being a good speaker. So I will be listening to all the speakers today and just taking notes of interesting tidbits in their speeches. At the end of the meeting, when I'm giving my report, I would ask questions to know how many of us were paying attention and how well we were paying attention. So see you at the end of the meeting, and back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, TM Joy Cheyenne. From listening to her speech, you could tell that she has won so many contests. You could see, could you feel it? Well, I know you can, and you could. Introducing to the virtual lectern, the accountant TM Tessie. She joined Toastmasters in 2018. She's a consultant who loves having fun. TM Tessie, welcome to the virtual lectern. Please, can you introduce your role? You have 2 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, TM Jai. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests. My name is Tessie, and I'm the accountant for the day. The purpose of my role is to note any overused words or crutch sounds that people might be using during the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you for being very concise, TM Tessie. I'm still trying to find a way to say Sub Rosa, but I'm sure I'll find something to say. Okay, so thank you, everyone. So those are my team members. I will be returning control back to the Toastmaster of the day. Toastmaster of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim Jayola. You would agree with me that that is an A team. I'm also, like you, trying to find ways to incorporate Sub Rosa, but I think Sub Rosa is an interesting word to use. Right, it's a great one. So I want us to not forget and always remember through this meeting, right, the topic of this meeting, which is limitless, right? It's something that I feel that if everyone takes personally and just thinks about it, you realize that you can do far more than you're doing now, right? A quote from Marianne Williams, paraphrase, says, "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us." We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? Your playing small doesn't serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We're all meant to shine. We're born to make manifest the glory that is within us. It's not just some of us, it is in everyone, actually everyone on this call. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. You are limitless, and anytime you are tempted to think otherwise, realize that your potential is not just for you, but also for the others. So as we begin this meeting, as we go into the meat of this meeting, I want you to always keep it at the back of your mind that you're beyond the potential. There's no limit to your potential. right? You determine that, and you can achieve far more than you've done so far. So at this point in time, we'll be going into an interesting part of the Toastmasters meeting, which is the table topic session. Right? This is the part where you get to speak. We have a lot of speakers come give unprepared speeches and display their prowess. Right? So to organize and coordinate that session, we'll have a wonderful Toastmaster Queen Nkubre. I hope I got that correctly. Right? She joined Toastmasters in 2016. She's the current Vice President Education of Lighthouse Prestige Toastmasters. She's a dance and fitness instructor who loves reading and writing. So I don't know about the dance, but I love the reading. So I hope one of these days I get to learn that from you. So welcome to the virtual lecture, TM Queen. And
thank you. We can always arrange a dance class for you, don't worry. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests, and welcome to the table topic session. As the Toastmaster of the day already mentioned, it's a very interesting session. And I can tell you, it can be the most dreaded session or the most exciting session, depending on how you look at it. It is the session that challenges you to think on your feet by responding to a question you haven't prepared for with a 1 to 2 minute speech. But like they say, if it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. So I encourage you all to participate in this and be changed for good. And especially if you're not playing a role or giving a speech, do try to speak at this meeting through this session. So this session will be music-based. Like we know, the 63rd Grammy Award took place last month and gave us a lot to talk about. Burna Boy won his first Grammy Award, making Nigeria proud. Beyonce won her 28th Grammy Award, therefore making a new record as the artist with the highest number of Grammy Awards. And so there's a lot to talk about music, and so I'll be asking questions based on music. I have 1 to 12 questions that are arranged according to their level of challenge. So be fair in picking your level of challenge. So for the first speaker, I'd like a Toastmaster to volunteer, and then we can have guests and other Toastmasters also speak. So can I have a volunteer? Joy Cheyenne, as expected. Okay, so pick question from 1 to 12.
Question 6.
6, okay.
Right at the middle.
Right in the middle. Okay, so question 6 says, do you prefer to listen to music with headphones, in a room, in a car, or at a large gathering such as a concert, and why?
Good morning, Toastmasters and guests. Thank God that it's Toastmasters, so I can get to pick all. I love music, and just a couple of days ago, I was asked to participate in a competition to win a t-shirt, and they asked the question, why do you like listening to music? And give us reasons why you like to listen to music. And I said, I like to listen to music, first of all, because of the lyrics and the melody and the voice. So what that means is whether I'm in my room, I'm in my car, I'm driving to work, anywhere I go, music is always appealing, and it's for different reasons. When you're in your car, you get the liberty to play as loud as you can, and nobody is going to say, oh, you need to turn that down. And when you're in your room with your headphones on, it helps me reminisce, it helps me reflect. Depending on the lyrics, it helps you to ask yourself questions. And then when you go to a concert, there's always that corporate vibe, people dancing, people screaming, people fainting. So I would, if you ask me to pick one, it'll be difficult. I'll have to say all three. I love music, and depending on the mood and the crowd, I would always go with all three of them. Thank you.
Thank you, TM Joy. Like you mentioned, location doesn't matter. It's the lyrics and your mood of the day. It's okay. Can we have a second volunteer? We have, can I have Julie Mobo, TM Julie, Toastmaster Julie? Can you pick a number?
Okay, so I go with number 3.
Number 3. Okay. Number 3 says, what is your least favorite type of music and why?
Thank you so much for that question. If we're to talk about music, I wish I was called first to have answered the question that Toastmaster Joy Cheyenne did. However, this is still pleasing to me because some people think that once it has melody, once it has really lyrics and beats, then it's music. But to me, it is not like that. So one of the kinds of music, or I would say a song that I cannot bring myself to dance to or even to listen is what is called Makossa. I know that the beats have been modified to make it accessible and more embracing to religious worshippers, and it is sung in churches and all of that. When the beats come on, I just cannot bring myself to dance it. And the reason is just simple. I don't know how to do all the twisting that people do when they dance to that particular music. So when it comes to Makossa beat, I can't do such songs. Then if a song has lewd lyrics, I am very particular about it. When the lyrics are lewd, I would not in any way dance to it. So I pay particular attention. There are times that you might get me if the music has good rhythm. I could be swayed by it. But I do that sub rosa. But when I get to know what the lyrics is, I change my mind and I don't dance to it at all. So if I were to pick a song or a music that I don't like, the list is Makossa. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, TM Julie. Like you said, the lyrics matter a lot, and although you might find yourself sometimes dancing sub rosa to the lyrics you don't like, once you know the lyrics, you adjust yourself. Okay, moving on to the next speaker, I will call on TM Abubakar to pick a number, and I'd like to encourage the guests as well to participate. The questions are easy, sort of, so please do try to participate. Toastmaster Abubakar, can you pick a number?
Can I go with number 11?
Wow. Okay. Okay. So number 11 says, many people blame music lyrics for incidents such as suicide, violence, rape, and even racism. What role do you think lyrics play in these events?
Okay. Thank you very much, the Table Topics Master. I would like to apologize for the background sound. Honestly, when I think of music, I think of something blissful and nice. I think of something to be enjoyed. You see, there was a time I used to sing, literally I used to sing, and it was terrible. I have one of the worst voices ever. So I tried to do that in public, and that was when people were laughing at me that, come on, this is an insult to music. And honestly, I have to say, I really appreciated artists and musicians because it's not easy to sing. First of all, it's not easy to actually do something melodious with your voice, talk less of sing and then wow people. So I think there's a lot of positives with music. There are a lot of great musicians who actually did something with their lives. Talking about Bob Marley, Michael Jackson, these are people who actually influenced people. But see, the problem with good things is there's always as a country. So unfortunately, the country music is, there are some, I wouldn't say bad artists, because for me, really all musics are good. But there are some artists who are mindless of their lyrics or the culture they're trying to portray. And unfortunately, it affects other people. For example, the early hip hop days when, NWA, West Side, East Side used to, they were like thugs, kind of like killing each other and all that. So these things were just maybe a fraction of the music in its entirety. But honestly, I believe if we can learn to see music as something positive and something entertaining and something of positive value, I believe it would reduce that perception that we have of negative influence of music. But other than that, I actually believe music can be used for progress. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Abubakar. Like you said, when you put yourself in someone's shoes, you appreciate the work that they do, and of course, on the impact of music. Can we have another volunteer? Timer, do we have time for one more person?
Yes, just one more. If someone
okay. So, last call. Who wants to volunteer? Who wants to play the role before I'm forced to select somebody?
Okay, Queen.
Okay, Toastmaster Anthony. Okay, great. Can you pick a number from 1 to 2? Number 2 says, what musical instrument do you play or do you wish you played?
Madam Toastmaster, yeah, I don't play any musical instrument at the moment, but I would like to play the guitar. And I started, and I took a few lessons, but I didn't take off yet. But one day I will. And this meeting today, thank you very much, guys, fellow Toastmasters, helps me on that journey. Every day you walk with the Lord is a wonderful day. And this is a beautiful day. And that beautiful song from you too, it's a beautiful day. And that beautiful song from John Lennon, imagine there were no countries. Imagine we were all one country. Imagine heaven on earth. And that's exactly what your meeting does today. It opens our minds. It opens our minds to the possibilities, what we can do, the potential we've got. We are all unique. We have all a contribution to make in the world. And Toastmasters helps us to do that. And most especially when you travel. And most especially when you listen to a song every day. And quite simply, when you feel low or you feel anxious or any type of anxiety, you just switch on music and you listen to that sound. And you go for a walk into the heart of nature. And that's exactly where I am now, out in nature. So when you combine all these things and put the icing on the cake with Toastmasters and music, then you move on to this adventure they call life, which is absolutely beautiful. I thank you guys, and I will take up my lessons, and you've given me the energy to propel and move on and get that guitar and start playing and start practicing again. Thank you all very much. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anthony. Thank you. You said a very powerful word. Imagine if we were all one country. That's a very powerful statement to ponder on. And I wish you all the best with your guitar lessons. So, Toastmasters and guests, that's the end of our table topic session. I hope you were challenged and I hope you learned something today. I'm handing the control back to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thanks, Tim Queen, for such a wonderful session. I learned a lot, and I'm sure everyone enjoyed the fantastic speeches from the speakers. So I would, without further ado, call on the table topics evaluator to give his evaluation on the speeches. But before that, can we vote? Can we put up the vote for the table topic speakers? Thank you. So I'll just give a second for us to quickly do that. Okay, so I would introduce the table topics evaluator for today, who is Toastmaster Francis Mukulu. I hope I got that right. Toastmaster Francis is an experienced accountant and Toastmaster of many years. He's a Triple Crown Toastmasters Educational Award winner. He's a living witness to the quote, "It seems impossible until it's done." He loves to wear a smile so the world can smile back at him. When he's not balancing accounts, he's listening to alternative rock music or watching Arsenal Football Club. I don't think there's a more qualified person to evaluate, being that CM Francis loves music also. So CM Francis, I welcome you to the virtual lecture.
Thank you most kindly, Mr. Toastmaster of the Day. It has been an amazing section, a one full of fun and learning. Thank you to the topics master herself for that engaging section. Like I always say, table topic session is a session some love to love, while some love to hate. All the same, it was an amazing session. The Toastmaster of the Day prepared us for the challenge as well. And we're all ready to go neck deep into the session. For the first speaker, Toastmaster Joyce Cheyenne, music, headphones, or allowed? You mentioned that three particular aspects about music. You mentioned the lyrics, you mentioned the melody, you mentioned the voice as well. You gave us different instances. Would it be in the room, in the car, and your preference at that particular point in time? You wore a smile. What a smile does is that it endears your audience to you. Kudos, well done for that wonderful smile. I can say in sync, not sounding sub rosa, that you are beautiful. Even though the Toastmaster of the Day did take that back, I'm giving it with my full chest. Then I swear I thought you would have returned control to the topics master. So it's advisable when you are done with your speech, you return control to the topics master. And I did not see your hand, your gestures as well. You can work on that so we can see your gesture. For the next speaker, Toastmaster Julie, your least love music. You had an introduction. You talked about music, your love for music in general. You used the word of the day. Isn't that amazing? To find a way to infuse the word of the day in your speech. After going on and on, you reinforced your message and you were emphatic that it is Makosa. I pray someone will make you change your mind and get to love Makosa tomorrow. So your area of improvement, you would have returned control to the topics master instead of mentioning thank you. We should be thanking you for giving us such a wonderful speech. Toastmaster Abubakar, quite hilarious, quite humorous at first, but I would have loved to hear you sing as well, to sing and tell us about that song you sang that made your audience laugh at you. All the same, you did well. It was about your love for music. It was about how a particular genre make people not to love music, and you ended well as well. Great job. For our final speaker, Toastmaster Anthony, you are an experienced speaker. You started where you told us about music, and you went headlong into the particular instrument of your choice. You mentioned the guitar. But I think you lost it at some point. You lost focus. You diverted at a particular point in time. But towards the end, you rejoined every one of us and brought us home by telling us that someday, sometime, you will learn. You will love to learn to play the guitar. Well done. What you should have done, you would have maintained focus and stayed on the course. Great job. For the table topics master, this is an avenue for the guests to come on board to learn how to speak. So I feel you would have, on your own accord, ask guests, suggest guests, name names so they can come on board. All the same, it was a wonderful section. Music make the world go round. Thank you very much, the table topic speaker and the table topic master. Back to you, the Toastmaster of the Day.
Thanks so much for that wonderful evaluation. Can we just give a round of applause to all the speakers and the evaluator? We can do it physically, or we can just use our reaction buttons. Clapping here. So thank you. So I learned a lot from that session, and Tim Quinn mentioned the Grammy Awards, right, which is the epitome of the careers of a lot of musicians. To achieve or to get to that stage, right, there's a mindset that's required, the limitless mindset. You have these musicians, Sub Rosa, try to develop their talents, develop their skills, not just for the local stage, but also for the international stage, which I think is immense. And it's also the message of this meeting, right, that the work you do within, right, will definitely reflect without once you put in the effort, right? So at this point of the meeting, I would want to we're going for a short break, very short break, a 2-minute break, where before we step into the next part of the meeting for the prepared speeches. So we can put on our videos and just chat for a bit. I want to just set the tone for that. I want to know what someone is watching or reading. Which film are you watching and which book are you reading? If we have a volunteer for that would be amazing. I, for one, I don't think I'm watching anything yet, but seems Tim Gimba wants to go.
Yes, please. There's a book I'm reading. It's called Make Time by Jake Knapp. So it's basically just, it's about it's not about time, it's about us really. Because when we think about the pandemic, for example, what have you achieved in 2020? You know, you keep telling yourself, okay, I don't have time for this, I don't have time for that. But during the pandemic, you had time. So what did you do with the time? You know? So it's not really about not having time, it's about you yourself, the way you see time. And I think it's a very, very good book. So if anyone wants, I can share the link, the EPUB or the PDF version. It's actually a very, very interesting book. It changes the way you see time, basically. It just shows you that you are, and it's up to you, really.
That's amazing. What's the title again?
Make Time. Let me type it in the chat box. It's called Make Time by Jake Knapp.
Okay.
I started like 2 days ago and I'm hooked.
I didn't hear what you said last.
I started the book about maybe 2 days ago and I can't stop reading it.
Oh, that's interesting. That's amazing. That's amazing. Sam Quinn, what was the last movie you watched?
I think the last movie I saw was God Calling on Netflix. It's a Nigerian movie, superb quality, good storyline. But yeah, that was the last movie I saw, God Calling.
Yeah. So the floor is open for anyone to share. We have about 1 minute before we go to the next session. Or do I go around calling people? This is not table topics.
I can see Tommy Sin.
Okay.
Hi.
How are you? How are you? Yeah. I'm good, thank you. How are you guys?
Good.
Great also. So what was the last movie I watched? I'm trying to recall. Okay, I think, I recall. It's The Vault. It was about a team of robbers, actually, that they were trying to gain access into the vaults of the Spanish bank, Right, so I didn't find it interesting, so I was just scrolling through. It seemed like a copy of my personal favorites, Morning Haste. So I will, at this point in time, we're done with this break session, and we'll be going into Yes,
of course.
Everyone is allowed to talk, aside from the prepared speeches, right? Which because we have Toastmasters who are prepared, right, to come speak to us. We're going into that session now. So because we're out of time for the break. So we're going to be having wonderful speakers, right? Some of them have spoken during the course of this meeting and some will definitely meet. So I would introduce the speaker that will speak first, who is TM Abubakar Gimba. TM Abubakar Gimba is the Sergeant at Arms for Lighthouse Prestige Toastmasters Club. He joined Toastmasters in 2018. He's a project manager, and when he's not eating or sleeping, he does some reading, like we discovered already. All right. So I personally, I think I've had a lot of encounters with TM Gimba. Right. He also helped me while I was writing my PMP also. So thank you for that. So to evaluate TM Gimba's speech, we have a wonderful Toastmaster Dara Lanlehi. I hope I got that right. Toastmaster Dara is a lawyer who joined Toastmasters in 2009. She loves Toastmasters, socializing, writing, and reading. She has won table topic speaker at area contest. Toastmaster Dara, kindly help us read the objectives of TM Abubakar's speech.
The purpose of this project is for the member to practice developing a plan, building a team, and fulfilling the plan with the help of his or her team. The purpose of the first speech is for the member to give a short overview of the plan for his or her project. And I would say that I'm looking forward to TM Abubakar's speech, and I wish him all the best.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, good morning, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests. So this speech, it's supposed to be a reflection on the project we've had, and I am supposed to relay my experiences. So I will start by talking about the genesis of the project in the first place. During my level 4, I realized I had to come up with a project. I used to think of the pathways as, I think of my own path, innovative planning path, as something you just need to give speeches and play roles and that's it. So I was a bit shocked to find out that I have to actually design and develop a project, execute it, and then share my experience before I move on to the next level. So the motivation for this is actually to conclude this level 4 and move on to the next level, level 5. So during I was trying to brainstorm what I need to do. So I went through the elective projects as well for level 4 and level 5. Pathways have given you that ability to check them out before you get there. And I saw that I can actually design and develop a panel discussion. And I thought to myself, a panel discussion wouldn't be bad. I've never done it before, but I thought to myself, this is, being limitless. You're supposed to be limitless. So you're supposed to push your limits, right? And so I thought to myself, okay, let me give it a go. And there was a panel by Toastmasters International about the pandemic and mental health. So I recently watched that, and it just kind of gave me the drive to push on because I saw how it was done. It was magically done, and I thought to replicate that concept onto my own project. So this was on the 6th of February, beginning of February, and we had a meeting on the 6th of February. So I had to quickly design a plan that I'll have to discuss on that meeting day to begin the project. So I designed it, a quick plan. So I thought to myself, okay, the panel will basically just be 3 speakers because I know we usually have a time constraint in Toastmasters meetings. And I would require perhaps 15 minutes, 20 minutes maximum because of introductions and any other miscellaneous activities. So this was the plan. The plan was actually quite simple. Look for volunteers or panelists from the meeting or from outside and design the panel with them. So on that meeting day, 6th of February, I I announced it on the group meeting chat box that I'm designing a panel and I need volunteers. So I expected a few people to actually indicate their interests, but no one did. So like after a few days, still nobody developed interest. So I thought maybe panel won't be a good idea because I can't even get people to be on the panel. But I thought, okay, well, this is supposed to be a project that you're supposed to design, right? Can you really? So I told myself, why don't I go ahead and scout people for the panelists? So I thought, okay, yeah, that would be a bad idea. Let me just try it, push it again and see if it doesn't happen, then I'll have to look for another project. So I announced it again on the group and I got one panelist, and I was looking for 3 panelists. So the first panelist I was interested, I told him, okay, this is the idea, this is the plan I had, and he was on board. He was even suggesting, okay, it's actually good. And his own input was that let's make it 20 minutes, because if we do 15 minutes, we need a few minutes for miscellaneous activities. So now I had to look for 2 other panelists. And so I was asking people, most people in my cycle, people in Toastmasters, and I was able to find another panelist who was interested. The 3rd panelist I found wasn't ready, so I had to look for a backup. That was how we were able to get the 3 panelists. The time is fast spent, so I need to quickly fast track this. So when we found the 3 of them were ready, so I told them the theme. So the theme, a quick story there, I was just thinking of something that I'm really passionate about, something that I feel I can influence an audience, something I feel can be a good takeaway for the audience, something that won't waste the audience's time and they can get value from. So I thought of habits, and I've read Atomic Habits by James Clear, and I became obsessed with habits. I see my life as a string of habits. Even what I'm doing right now is a habit for me. So I thought, we are going to fuse that theme and talk about that and extract as much information as we can for the audience. And that was how we developed the theme. I shared it with every panelist, and I was just following up with them. So this happened in a week. The next meeting was supposed to be on the 20th, and when we scheduled it, but there was a club of trading, so we couldn't do it then. So we decided to go with the next meeting, which was on the 6th of March. We did that, and there was a contest, so we didn't do it then as well. So we shifted to 20th of March. So before that, I talked to the VPE, Toastmaster Queen, that please let's do this. Let's make this happen. What is going to happen on that meeting? She said nothing else. So I said, okay, let's do it. And so that was how we decided to do it on that day. I even had to negotiate the time and the position with the VP, which I hadn't done before. And I should have done that initially from the beginning of the project. So I had to request for time. There was no time. I had to negotiate for it. And it was finally the VP as well gave us an input to fuse it with table topics so that we can get enough time for it. And luckily for us, we didn't have a lot of speakers that day. So it kind of accommodated the project. So what I've learned basically is simply communication. Really, communication is everything. So if I had communicated, I attempted once and I didn't get speakers and I was about to be discouraged, So, but if I had done that like 2, 3, 4 times, I would know that it's not, you shouldn't give up that easily. Just keep doing what you do and it will happen. And I also learned organization. See, I was supposed to organize myself and be in sync with the VPE first before talking to the panelists. But at the end of the day, it went well. And I believe subsequently, I would try to design as much projects as we can. And I would encourage everyone here to actually try as much as we can to add value to ourselves and the audience by designing similar projects. So thank you so much. I would hand over control back to the table Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Tayo. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I will give a round of applause to Tim Abubakar Gimba for that wonderful speech. Thanks a lot for sharing your journey. It's helpful. And we'll go to the next speech, which is by TM Juliet Okene, and to be evaluated by TM Abubakar Gimba, who seems to be playing a lot of roles. So I've introduced TM Abubakar Gimba. I would introduce the speaker of the day. The second speaker, TM Juliet, is a chartered accountant with over 18 years post-qualification experience. She recently made a career switch from finance to HR and is the head of compensation and benefits. She's a life strategist and head coach at the Audacity Network. She helps high potential individuals gain self-awareness, clarify goals, achieve their development objectives, and bridge the gap between their performance and potential. So I will yield the virtual lectern to TM Abubakar Gimba to give the objectives for this speech.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Tai. Toastmaster Juliet, good afternoon. The purpose of this project is for the member to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback, and apply the feedback to a second speech. The purpose of this speech is for the member to demonstrate that he or she has applied the feedback received from his or her first speech. So this project has 2 speeches and 1 evaluation. Toastmaster Juliet has done 1 speech. She has been evaluated, and this is the second speech. So we expect to see the feedback from the first speech applied here. And I just want to note for the record that I was present during the first speech, and I took note of the evaluations as well. In fact, I was a pseudo evaluator. So if Toastmaster Juliet thinks she can maneuver this one, she can't. You have the floor.
When you look at the mirror, what do you see? Do you see beauty, confidence, worthiness, health, value? Or do you see shame, poverty, brokenness, pain? Take a look again. What do you really see? The Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I had a best friend when I was growing up. Her name was Jane. She was my only friend because she's very possessive. She's smart and very pretty. Now, she had a flaw. Her mouth, her lips. She had a way to say things that were so hurtful that your skin will crawl. No, your skins don't crawl. They peel. So she was nicknamed Toxic Mouth, Acid Mouth. So one day, she and another student had a fight, physical fight. And they were summoned to the principal's office. Now my school had a main principal. How many of you had main principals in school? If you add all your main principals together, you have Madam Modi. We nicknamed her Monster Modi. She was that mean. So Madam Modi summoned me to her office, and I got there, and she looked me straight in the eye, and she said, Juliet, what happened? I want you to be honest with me. This is poor, innocent me. I was scared because I was between the devil and the deep blue sea. If I said the truth, which was Jane being at fault, I will have issues with Jane. If I lied, I will have issues with Madam Modi. So I chose to offend the devil and I spoke the truth. Told Madam Modi, Jane started the whole thing. Jane was punished for the rest of the school day. She was told to cut grass while we all went back to class. Now the end of school day bell rang and Jane walked into class. She was sweaty, her face was black and dark, her eyes were red, and the class fell silent. My heart was pounding. I'm sure the entire class could hear my heartbeat. She walked straight to her desk, packed her books, put them in her backpack, carried her bag, and walked straight to my desk. She looked at me and said, Juliet, you betrayer. I thought you were my friend. I despise you. You are worthless, you are useless. In fact, you are a goat. And she stormed out of the classroom. I was visibly shaking. But it wasn't as bad as I had thought it would be. She has called me those other names before. The new name here was goat, which was new. Every other thing was old. So that the event stays sub rosa in class, I quickly packed my bag and went to the pickup area to meet my Aunt Maury. Aunt Maury was the person that picked me up from school every day. Immediately she saw my face. She knew something was wrong. And she goes, "Baby girl, what's wrong? Are you okay?" And I went on to tell her the entire story. And I got to the goat part and I started crying. She was silent for a few seconds. She reached out into her bag, brought out her vanity mirror. She told me to look at it. "Baby girl, who do you see in the mirror?" I thought it was a rhetorical question. I saw me, and I said, "Me, auntie." She says, "Look again." But this time, she brought her face closer, and I could see both her reflections in the mirror. And she asked me, "Do you see a goat?" And I said, "No." And she says, "I see a beautiful, kind-hearted, and confident girl." She went and said, "Whenever people throw shades on you, I want you to reach out to the mirror and tell yourself who you really are." This has been my secret all these years. I've had toxic bosses, I've had a toxic boyfriend. And people ask me, "How do you cope? You're tough-skinned, Juliet." And I laugh. I am not tough-skinned, my friends. I have a mirror. You see, people are going to throw shades on you. So I want you to bring out your mirror and do this quickly with me. If you don't have a mirror, put on your camera, look at your reflection on the screen, and repeat after me. I am beautiful. I am kind. I am valuable. I bring value to those around me. I have what it takes to change my corner of the world. You see, the world is not going to put a value on you that is higher than the value you put on yourself. The greatest mistake you would make in life is to put a lid on your potential. Because if your potential is this low, your confidence has to be higher for you to exceed your potential. So whenever people throw shades on you, reach out to the mirror and say those affirmations. The Toastmaster.
Thank you so much. Can we give a round of applause for that wonderful speech? I'm giving one here. So at this point, we would quickly take the polls, right, for the best speakers before we call the evaluators to give evaluations on the speeches. Okay, so I'll give a minute for that to happen. And while we're having that, I'll call on Toastmaster Dara to evaluate the speech given by TM Abubakar Gimba. Welcome to the virtual lectern, Toastmaster Dara.
Thank you, Toastmaster. So first of all, I have to say, TM Abubakar, that your speech was refreshingly honest. And I mean, the crux of your speech was your growth with the Toastmasters pathways. And to be honest, that's something I have struggled with. Pathways I find a bit more difficult. But I love the fact that you were extremely honest in talking about your challenges in trying to get panelists for your speech project. I love the fact that you didn't spare us any details. You spoke to people, no one took you up on your offer, you faced some rejections, you went outside of Toastmasters, you still faced rejections. It just shows that behind every speech, it's not always roses. Sometimes it's difficult. There's a lot of sweat involved in preparing for speeches and delivering a speech. But you persevered. And I actually was present during the panel discussion. And I have to say, and if you were there too, I'm sure you remember, it was one of the most engaging Toastmaster sessions ever. And to any Toastmaster or guest that was there that day, I'm sure you'll agree with me. In terms of my recommendations, I just have one. And that is, I felt that your delivery, it was meant to be a short report or a short overview talking about your experience with getting panelists for the speech. And I felt that it could have been a bit more smooth, the delivery. There were a couple of ums and ahs and forgetting your words. Nevertheless, I was extremely, extremely impressed because you rounded it up by saying, organization, you learned organization, you learned not to give up, and you learned communication. And at that moment, I understood why I was a Toastmaster and why I was on the pathway rule. It's not about just being a good speaker. It's about what makes you a good speaker, what develops your character, and not giving up, perseverance. Those are the things that develop your character, and those feed into the quality or the kind of speeches that we all deliver. So I have to say again, not only am I pleased to have grasped what Toastmasters and Pathways is all about, I can see that you clearly did too. And I was very, very impressed, the Toastmaster.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, TM Dara, for that wonderful and detailed evaluation. So we'll go to TM Abubakar Gimba for the evaluation on TM Juliet Okene's speech.
All right. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Juliet. Well done on this speech. I have to say there has been a massive improvement. I can see that you've actually applied those feedback and then some more. I'll start by the commendations I realized from this speech. You started with an introduction, which is a story. The thing about stories never fail, and stories are personal. And in a story, you can do anything. You can inform, you can align people, you can actually hook an audience. You can use a story to deliver the message of your speech. And I have to say, you used the prop, the mirror, is kind of engaging. The use of descriptive expressions, black face, black eyes. The use of goat. I mean, nobody likes to be called goat. So it was a bit relatable. Maybe some of us haven't been called that word, but there are similar words that we do not like to hear, regardless. So I like that. I like that your speech is well structured. I like that you were comfortable with the audience. You used the stage well. You used a very good eye contact. And these are part of the recommendations from your first evaluation. Now, your recommendations were quality issues, and I have to say they still persist, because at some point in time, I have to struggle to hear what you're saying, perhaps maybe because your voice is low, or it's because of your network, to which you were recommended to use another internet service provider. For example, you have an internet, it's recommended to have Glow or a T-Stellar, because in internet meetings, Zoom meetings are here to stay, Then your use of pauses. The first recommendation was that your pauses were quite long, but I noticed that you've actually taken heed and you've constricted the time between pauses, and that is actually commendable. Then the last thing that you were recommended to do was to speak more, and I have to say you did just that. So thank you so much. Finally, the thing about motivational speeches are, when we hear them, I mean, we've heard them before and we keep hearing them, and we'll not stop hearing them. But you see, when we hear a motivational speech, it sticks in our minds for a few moments or a few days, and that's it. We need to be reminded again. But the way you rounded up your speech with the mirror is something that we see every day. We see mirrors every day, we see screens every day. So that's an opportunity to use it to actually reassess yourself. It's something as simple as waking up in the morning before going out and looking into the mirror will reaffirm your self-esteem that, what do you see? I see a great man, I see a great woman. And thank you for that. I commend you, and I look forward to hearing more of your speeches. Thank you.
Thank you, TM Abubakar Gimba, for the detailed feedback. So we will be voting for the best evaluators. But before that, I would just want a check with the timekeepers to know everybody kept time. Hi, Tim.
Should I give the report or just okay?
So just to know if we can vote for both parties.
Yes, I don't know if TM Abubakar ended 2 minutes 53 seconds. So I don't know if that is out of the time range, because the time I have is
2 minutes 53.
53 seconds. Yes.
That's fine.
That's out of the time range.
Oh, okay.
That's out of time range.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess there's no need to vote for that anymore, right? So, since we only have 2 participants there. So thanks so much, everyone, we've come to the end of the prepared speeches. It's been an exciting time for me. I've actually learned a lot, right? I've heard books, heard Atomic Habits by James Clear, Make Time by James Knapp, I think, right? So I've heard quotes, I've learned lessons. We've learned that we need to, when you're questioned, without look into the mirror and remind yourself of who you are. You're limitless and you're beyond, your potential is beyond measure. We learned how organization, tenacity, communication will help you, right, achieve your goals at the end of the day. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over the virtual lectern to the general evaluator to call on his team members to give the reports.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the day. I think you handled the meeting very, very well, and we appreciate you. So like I mentioned at the start of the meeting, I'll give my report. I'll also call my team members to give their reports. So I'll start with my report. So I noticed that the meeting room and the meeting room was set up on time and guests were welcome on arrival. And I think that's good practice. However, I noticed that there was no discussion with the guests on what they should expect from the meeting or what they should expect from Toastmasters. I think in the next meeting, we should try to implement that before the meeting so that everyone can feel inclusive. I noticed that the meeting started 2 minutes late. I think best practice is that all role players should be in the meeting room 5 to 10 minutes to the meeting. I noticed the Toastmaster was properly introduced and introduced the general evaluator and the topics master, and he sets the tone of the meeting appropriately, which I think was fantastic. Well done, Toastmaster of the day. I noticed that the word of the day, yes, was challenging. However, best practice is that it should sync with the theme of the meeting. It can be argued that it might not have properly synced with Limitless, but it was challenging. Well done. Well done to you. Also, I noticed that the purpose of the timing of the table topics was properly explained, and the table topics master ensured that the questions that she asked were fitted with the theme of the meeting. I also noticed that the first person that presented in the table topics was someone with a meeting role. Best practice is the first person to present should not be someone that has a meeting role. However, second person could be, but first person should always be either a guest or someone without a meeting role. Lastly, I noted that the table topics evaluator spoke above time. I think it's essential that all role players speak within time. So that's my report for today's meeting. I hope that it's implemented in the next meeting. I would introduce my team members, starting with the timekeeper, TM Chris, to give his report. TM Chris. Toastmaster Chris. Okay, since Toastmaster Chris, can everyone hear me, just to be sure? If you can hear me, please, can you let me know?
Yes, we can.
Yes, clearly.
Okay, so I think, okay, I think that Toastmaster Chris already has given us an expectation that everyone, the timing was well, except from the Toastmaster Abubakar, who spoke above time. Like I mentioned earlier, I think it's very essential to speak within time. It also helps you prepare. If we're going to have a contest maybe in the future, at least you would have been working according to the appropriate time limits. So that's what I would say about timing. I'll call my next team member, Toastmaster Tessie. She's the accountant to give a report. Toastmaster Tessie.
Thank you very much, Team Tai. I will just give a brief analysis. I would start with the table topics. For the table topics, even though everyone's speech was very interesting, we had TM Joy, who used the filler "and" twice, and we had TM Tai, who used the filler word twice. And for the prepared speeches, we had Abubakar Gimba, and he used the word 3 times and once.
Okay, so what do we say to them? What do we say to them? We say that they should don't do it again, please. Let's try to limit our filler words to ensure that we don't distract people when we're speaking. So I'll call my next team member. I'll call the grammarian TM Chinedu Omenkuku to give his report. TM Chinedu. TM Chinedu.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, the general evaluator. It took a while for me to fiddle with the technology. But yes, a beautiful meeting by all standards. Very well prepared speeches, very good table topic speeches. And most importantly for me was the use of my word of the day. And yes, I could have done better. It doesn't really align with the theme. It sounds a little bit complicated, but it was well used today. Over 50% of the speakers used it. TM Taye would win the most use of the word of the day because he used it 4 times. TM Jayola, TM Julie both used it twice. TM Queen, TM Francis, and TM Juliet also used the word of the day. So it's very, very commendable that irrespective, they were able to fuse it in. For my report for improper use of English, I was listening all through, trying to pick up something. Everybody really spoke well. The use of English today was very, very good. One I might point out is, I think in one of the speeches, someone tried to use a reflection to. It actually, I think, should be a reflection of or a reflection on. So apart from that, every other English I heard sounded good and appropriate. A lot of nice quotes were also used during this meeting. And I particularly want to talk to TM Abubakar that with regards to him not having a good voice and still having love for music, there are a lot of people on that boat, I including. I enjoyed TM Julius' motivation of always using the mirror, and I'll definitely try that out. And on that basis, I would say that is my report for the grammarian role for today. Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. Over to you.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, grammarian TM Chinedu. Well done, well done. I would be calling my next team member, the listening evaluator, TM Joy, to give a report. TM Joy, please. You're welcome to the virtual lectern.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. So here I am back with my report and a couple of questions to ask to find out if we were listening attentively. So my first question is, who recommended a book that would change your perspective about time, and what is the title of that book?
TM Gimba.
Okay, and the title of the book?
I'm looking for it on the chat box. I know he typed it on the chat box.
Make time.
So the title is Make Time.
Make time.
Make time.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Okay, so Tim Juliet described her friend using 2 positive adjectives and 2 negative adjectives. So who wants to tell me the 2 positive ones first?
She said she's smart. I think I heard
Yes.
that. Too. So. She said she's intelligent.
And?
All right. Yeah.
Who wants to go for the second one? No, not. She said smart. Who wants to tell me? Okay, so I won't waste too much time. It means that you guys weren't paying attention. She said she was smart and pretty. And then she used 2 negative adjectives. Who can let us know, apart from TM Juliet, of course?
She said she had a toxic mouth.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. And there was one other one. She said she was very possessive.
Yeah,
we need
possessive.
to pay attention more. Okay, so why does TM Joy like music in her car?
Because she can play to the loudest possible.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Tim Taye. My next question is, what movie did Tim Taye watch that he thought was a bad caricature of Money Heist? He watched the movie and he said, this movie doesn't come close to the original. Who can tell me? Thank you. Thank you very much for responding. What 3 adjectives did TM Juliet's friend say to her before she walked out of the class? She mentioned 3 very hateful words.
Yeah, betrayal, yeah, goat. Wait. What else? Goat. Betrayal. Do I have to?
Well, no. There were 3 words
not
she
really.
used.
She said, I thought you were my friend.
No.
No.
I'll let TM Juliet, do you want to answer? I'll let TM Juliet answer this one. I'll make an exception.
So the problem I have is I'm good at speaking, I'm not good at listening. So the goat stood out. So fool, goat. I can't remember the third one. Honestly.
Okay,
I didn't even get the fool.
Worthless.
I know I got the goat.
You're worthless, you're useless, and you're a goat. Okay, so one last question. What happened the first time TM Abubakar tried to get panelists for his project?
He was rejected.
There was no response.
Thank you. There was no response. Nobody answered him. Thank you so very much for listening. Please pay attention to the details, because you know they say that the truth is always hidden in the details. So thank you very much for participating, and see you next time.
Thank you. Thank you so much, TM Joy. I really enjoyed your session. As you can see, I've been grinning, and I'm still, you can feel the excitement within me. Thank you so much. So I won't say this up, Rosa. I would like to let all of you know that my team was fantastic, and I'm sure you would all agree. So moving on to the next, I would like to announce the winners of the best speech, and I would like to announce the best evaluator. But before I do that, as per my standard, I have to start with the music. So can you hear my music? Can you hear it?
Not so sharp,
It's
but
low.
yeah, we can hear.
That's that. Anyways, so the winner, or should I say the winners of the table topic session is Toastmaster Joy and Toastmaster Julie. So we have a tie for the table topic. This time we all congratulate and celebrate them. Woo! Yeah. So on to the next. The best speaker of today is Toastmaster Julie. Woo! Toastmaster, please smile. Toastmaster, please smile now. All right. So the best evaluator for today is Toastmaster Dara. Thank you so much. I would like to return control to the Toastmaster of the day to handle the vote of thanks, announcement, and adjournment of the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you so much, TM Chayola Koka and your wonderful team. Everyone will agree with me that they did an awesome job. All right, so I have two surprises. We have two wonderful people with us that will be speaking with us today. But before I yield the virtual lectern to them, I just want to take us back to that topic, right, of the day, which is limitless. When we hear that word, what do you think of? Most times we have a picture in our minds. We have an external. It looks more outside in. So you think limitless, you're thinking maybe Superman, you're thinking a superhero, someone that can do things beyond normal. And the problem with that is that it's an outside in look at what you can do, right? We put those limits, we fantasize about those powers, the things that we can't do, right? But from all that we've heard today, and from wonderful speeches, from the quotes, from the thoughts that have been shared, we've heard that it's more inside in, right? Once you work on the mindset that you're actually limitless, right? You can achieve the impossible, right? So we have today with us an area director, a Toastmasters area director. He has spoken today. I've introduced him, and he actually needs no introduction. TM Francis will speak with us for just a few minutes, right? I will reintroduce him so that for those that were not at the meeting when he spoke, right? So he's an experienced accountant and Toastmaster of many years. He's a Triple Crown Toastmasters Educational Award winner. That's a tough award to have, but he has it, right? He's a living witness to the quote, "It is impossible until it's done." He loves to wear a smile to the world so the world can smile back at him. I hope we see that smile, right? Again, when he's not balancing accounts, he's listening to alternative rock music or watching Arsenal Football Club. That seems like touchable. I would like to welcome to the virtual lectern Toastmasters Francis Mukolo, I think. Sorry if I didn't get that correctly.
Thank you most kindly, Mr. Toastmaster of today's meeting. You've done an amazing job. Kudos. I doff my hat for you. I'm so delighted to be at Lighthouse Toastmasters Club and Lighthouse Prestige Toastmasters Club. Wonderful theme for today's meeting, limitless, for a luminous club or luminous clubs in this case now. It is said that no club, no area, no clubs, no Toastmasters International. So without the clubs, there would be no Toastmasters International. So on behalf of the Division F, so I'm here as in my capacity as the area director to felicitate, to appreciate these Lighthouse clubs for all that you do, to appreciate you for your effort, most significantly, to applaud our executives for the wonderful job. So I also come in appeal. If you see my two hands, coming from the division director, DTM Oluyemi, in terms of our DCP goals. As you can see, as the executives are aware, if you check the dashboard, the educational dashboard, you will see that the Lighthouse Toastmasters Club and Lighthouse Prestige are at 6 DCB points at this time. I think we can do more because the goal is to maintain 9 DCP points. And if you look at the same dashboard as well, Sunshine Toastmasters Club, all the way in Akure, has 9 DCP points. So I know that the Lighthouse clubs in the urbanized and sophisticated city, no disregard, no disrespect to Sunshine in Akure, I think the Lighthouse clubs can do well. And I have come to receive the assurance of the president that they will ensure that Area 18 meets the minimum requirement, which is President Distinguished Club, which is 9/10. We have just about 2 months to go, and I believe my president will make this happen. More so, the area contest held sometime in March, 28th of March, and the division contest is on the 17th of April. I want to enjoy members and guests to come on board to cheer on our champions. And it's no gainsaying that the champions emanated from one of the Lighthouse clubs. So I enjoin every one of us to come around to cheer up our Area 18 champions. Toastmaster Juliet Okene and co comes to mind. So finally, we have the district conference all the way in Conakry, Guinea. The lockdown has held us down, but now Toastmasters in Africa have come together to organize a conference that we must all meet and greet. So it affords us an opportunity as Toastmasters to network and connect with other Toastmasters in other countries. So I look forward to seeing every one of us in Conakry, Guinea. Thank you once again to Lighthouse Prestige, to Lighthouse, to members and guests. Please, I crave our indulgence to ensure we finish top, to finish strong. So at the end of June 30th, we are at 9 DCP points. It was Tom Peters, the American author, that mentioned communication and leadership is man's panacea to everything. So I enjoy every one of us. Keep on speaking, keep on leading. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster of the day. You have the virtual lectern now.
Thank you, TM Francis, for that salient message. I'm sure it was well received by everyone. To introduce the next person, I will give the virtual lectern to a wonderful man, the president of Toastmasters Lighthouse Club, Toastmaster Rotimi Omotayo Benson, who joined Toastmasters in 2017. He's an IT professional who loves traveling, adventure, and extreme sports. He's the current president of Lighthouse Toastmasters Club. So welcome to the virtual lecture, Toastmaster Rotimi.
Thank you, Toastmaster Tayo Oloriade. If I'm not a Toastmaster, Tayo, this is the first time you have been in Toastmasters room. Is that correct?
Yes, actually.
I think I must commend you. You did absolutely very well. And I think that's one of the things about Toastmasters. It's important that you always try to play different roles, give your speeches. That way it gives you the confidence, the calmness to be able to handle this kind of sessions. And I think you did very well. I would also like to thank the different role players, the general evaluator and his team, and Toastmaster Joy. You really made us to think, as in, I like the way you handled the listening evaluation section. I wasn't really listening, but the questions you asked would determine if anybody was listening. You did that very well. I would also like to thank the speakers and the speech evaluators and everybody in general. And my area director, we've heard you. We want to assure you that we are definitely going to meet the minimum goal. President distinguished as area for the area. Now, as a club, there's a special announcement we have here today, and that is a member of our club is going to be vying for a position at the district. So, Lighthouse Toastmasters is a member of Area 18. Area 18 belongs to a division. The division belongs to a district. So, a member of our club, Toastmaster Kayode DTN, is vying for the position of the club director at the district. So he has done it at the club level, was once the president, he has gone to the area, he has gone to the division. Now he's moving all the way to the district. So he would like to address us. This is Toastmaster Kayode. Toastmaster Kayode, are you there? Okay.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and all the guests that we have in the house. It's awesome to be home again. I started my Toastmasters journey here about 10 years ago. And like Mr. President had mentioned, I am vying for the role of the Club Growth Director in the district. And this is not a requirement, but I just thought that it was necessary for me to make my declaration from home. Lighthouse Toastmasters is my home. And pretty much all of the roles I had held in the Toastmaster cycle, in the district, in the division, in the areas, and even in all of the committees that I had served in, I served as an ambassador of Lighthouse Toastmasters. So I thought that it was just going to be necessary for me to indicate my ambition first in my home turf. So this would serve as an official declaration that I am going to be contesting as an aspirant for the office of the Club Growth Director. Large ambitions in the sense that this contest would be held amongst 16 countries in West and Central Africa. There's going to be the challenge of not being the natural French speaker. So currently I'm trying to learn French, so I'm able to convince more speakers and more voters. As it been said, communication actually breeds trust. So if you're not able to communicate effectively with people, you tend to lose trust. We see that happening in business, and in the game of politics now, we begin to see this happening. So I'm beginning to learn French so I can easily communicate with the voters. But most importantly, I would need a lot of our support as individuals in terms of prayers, in terms of reaching out, in terms of campaigns. The way the voting goes is that each club actually has 2 votes. So the president and the vice president of education represents each club with their votes. The exciting thing this year is that because of COVID, we're going to be having a dual conference, an hybrid conference, both online and offline. What this means is that we would be able to have people who are not coming to Conakry still vote, which was not the norm before now. What this also means is that we would also need to have our club to be eligible to vote. Eligibility in the sense that we need to be paid up members. Currently, we're paid up members, but a lot of the things that the area director spoke about just a few minutes ago are quite important in presenting a candidate. So we don't just want to be paid up members, we also want to be an highly rated club that would be respected when it's been mentioned. So that when they say this person comes from this club, it's going to pull a string rather than coming from a weak club. Lighthouse had never been a weak club. We had always been a president distinguished club forever. And I know that it's not going to change this year. Also, we also want to reach out to our Toastmasters friends across the West African district. So if you have people who are friends of yours outside of Nigeria, you want to reach out to them to send the message. And we're not coming to do anything new because most of the time our district had always been the best. We always know how to find out the best. What makes this year difficult is that we're actually having 3 candidates that are sort of the best of the best. So there is no mediocrity here. You have to be the very best of the best to win this. So it's not a game of, is this person going to perform? It's a game of, will this person have the numbers to win? Of course, I know I have my own support, but we need to reach out to as much people as possible. And so to get this done, I am instituting a campaign committee that's going to be international. So the chairman or the chairwoman of my campaign committee is from Cote d'Ivoire. And I'm sending some names to her that she would reach out to in terms of building campaign, public relations, and things like that. Of course, people may not come to my mind. So if you're someone that is interested in joining this kind of a campaign, please reach out to me or reach out to Mr. President to reach out to me so that we can institute you into this campaign. But most importantly, I would need your support and I would need your prayers. Thank you very much for allowing me to become an ambassador for Lighthouse family. I do not take this for granted, and I look forward to representing our club, not just in the district, but also as an international director in the years to come. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Yes, Tim. Toastmaster Kyle DTM, definitely we are behind you all the way. I think at this point, and like you mentioned, please, for members in the club, we need to pay up our dues. One of the criteria to also support Toastmaster Kyle, let us pay up our dues, club members. So you know the deals were supposed, the club dues were due 31st of March, but there's a 1 month grace period in which you can also pay up. So please, before the 30th of April, try as much as possible. Let us pay up our club dues. If you don't pay up by then, what will happen is Toastmaster will have to yank out your name from the database. You have to pay a restatement fee before you now pay your club dues. I'm sure we don't want that. So please, 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 let's pay our club dues. I think we have gotten to the point of that meeting whereby we need to meet our guests. So if today is your first time of joining the meeting today, can you please turn on your camera, tell us your name, how you found the meeting, and your name, how you found the meeting, and what you do. So the guests in our midst, please. And there's somebody named guest, so definitely you would have to probably turn on your camera. Please, can you turn on your camera, guest? The name is
I was
guest.
also thinking that there was someone named Clifford that made mention of asking if a guest can contribute or something like that. It would be nice if this is your opportunity to talk also. Oh, Clifford, I can see you. So yeah, okay, yeah, not muted any longer. I can't hear you now.
Hello,
All right.
everyone. Clifford.
Hi.
Yeah, so I get to learn about the Lighthouse from a friend. So we got talking, and I asked him if he knows any club or meetups where people can get to learn how to improve their communication skills and public speaking skills. So he made mention of Lighthouse. So that's how I get to be here today. So what I do, I'm an embedded systems engineer. So I build IoT solutions and things around that. So I believe those are all the questions, right?
Yes. Any other guests, please? Oh, Clifford, please kindly fill in your details in the. There's a link in the chat box. Kindly click on that link and fill in your details. A member of the membership team will reach out to you after the meeting.
Oh, all right. Thank you.
Do we have? I'm saying oh, no counter. I think Chidi. I don't know Chidi.
Chidi, say something.
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
My name is Chidi.
Nice to meet you, Chidi. So can you tell us how you got to know about the meeting? Oh, it has gone off.
Maybe it's network. But Tope can speak. Tope mobile.
Podcasting.
Okay, Chidi is speaking. I think he has network issues.
Who else do we have?
Chidi, if you can hear us, I think you have network issues. We have Tope.
Find this group. Yeah.
Yes, Chidi can.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so I was able to find this group online, and I joined today. So my name is Chidi. I run a paper packaging company called the Paper Packaging Company Nigeria Limited. We do eco-friendly food packaging solutions for businesses like paper bags, paper cups, food boxes, and all of that. That's what we do. Recently, I started working on a new project called Trader, Trader is a digital platform that connects buyers to sellers in major markets. Let's say you want to buy something from Alava market or Balogu market, we can connect you to a shopper. Then a shopper can help you do the purchase, you pay, and we basically facilitate the delivery. So I'm excited to be here, and I'm hoping to network with people. I'm hoping to learn more and improve my public speaking, a lot more. I know I'm really doing very badly at it at the moment, but this is the right place to be to get it improved and also meet a lot of great people as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Chidi. Do we have any other?
I think we have.
TOF.
We also have Tope. Tope, are you there? If you can hear us, please, can you introduce yourself? We would love to meet you. Please, no one should be shy. We won't judge. We just want to know you. And
any other? Let me see. I think we are basically done today. So by the powers conferred on me as the president of Lighthouse Toastmasters Club, I hereby Fumi Ilori. I don't know if this is your first time. Sorry.
No, it's not my first time. I was in the meeting the last meeting.
So he knew that we were
Who is TOF? TOF.
TOF is probably shy, but this would be a nice time to break the ice.
I think we have one more. Tope Mugbo.
Yes, Tope.
Tope, I'm sure you've met. Is Tope not okay, Tope Mugbo. Please, can you turn on your camera and unmute your microphone? Let us meet you. Julie, I know that Tope Mugbo has to come from you. So whoever it is, help us pinch the person.
I've been trying to pinch her since. And not she alone, she and her husband.
Oh. Does that mean nice to meet you?
Would have been nice to meet another Toastmaster couple.
Yeah.
We seem to have a lot of them in Lighthouse. Julie, how's your husband?
Yeah, he's doing great. He's been busy with the exams.
Yeah, he's trying to keep us all safe.
Yeah.
If you're not ready to turn on your video or mute your mic, you can just please click on the link. There's a URL in the chat box. Just click on the link and somebody will contact you after the meeting. So I think we are done. By the powers conferred on me as the president of Lighthouse Toastmasters, I would like to adjourn this meeting till 2 weeks' time. That's the 24th of April, 2021. 2020.
Toastmaster, to me, you're on mute. Just in case you do not know. Okay, can everyone hear me?
Yes, I can.
We can hear you.
Okay, so I guess Toastmaster to me has network issues. Oh, he's back. Toastmaster to me, you're back.
Yes, I'm back. So I said the meeting is over, so we can just all gist if you want to. Next meeting is 24th of April 2021. Same time, 11 a.m.
Thank you. Thank you.
All the best. We are here rooting for you.
Thank you very much, Dave Julie. I wish that we had individual votes. Unfortunately, we have just club votes. So
Yeah, that's
we have to reach out to so many clubs to campaign and sell the agenda. And it's a good thing that we are doing quite well in terms of our districts. So what I would want to introduce would just be the fun factor and also bring a new idea to public relations. So in Lighthouse, for instance, when I was president, I'm sure you would remember we had a charity visit to this home in Idiaraba.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and most of the impact that we've been having has been within the Toastmasters community. People come, they join, they please could the host take this off YouTube so that this will just be within the house. I'm speaking with family here. Well, while we wait for that to happen. So most of the impact that we've had has been just within the Toastmasters family. People come, they join Toastmasters, they get improved, and then they move on. And pretty much if we look back, we'll see that from my experience in Lighthouse and from other clubs that I've been a member of, most of the referrals that we get comes from people. So just like I think it was it Chidi, the guest, or the person before him said that he was speaking with a friend and then the friend referred him to Toastmasters. So about 90% of people that come to Toastmasters are being referred by guests, or they have lived abroad, they know about Toastmasters, they came back, probably they were reading a book, and then they got to know that they'd actually joined the Toastmasters just next door. So most of the improvements that we have happening happens just within the community. It doesn't go out. One of the things that I would want to do would be to begin to take these improvements out. So it's not just going to be about people coming to join us, but also we going out to impact people. And how do we get to impact people? We get to impact people by actually going out to be the change. So we're going to begin to see clubs not just holding meetings for members, but begin to hold meetings for outsiders. So let's have a 3-day hackathon where people come to improve their public speaking skills. Let's have a 5-week, 2-week training on leadership. Let's begin to see change in the lives of people. And just a few weeks ago, I was speaking with the organizers of the international contest. And one of the contest chairs is from Cameroon. And he told me something that struck a chord. He told me that in Africa, we have terrible leadership, which is a fact that we cannot deny. It's evident. But he told me that he would be very comfortable to have the worst of Toastmasters handle our national leaderships than the current set of leaders that we have across Africa. And that struck a chord to me, that in Toastmasters, we know that we have stuff. We see stuff happening amongst ourselves. We see improvements happening. But do we take this out to our workplace, to our communities, to people around us? But that hardly happens. So one of the things that I'm going to focus a lot on would be what I've termed public relations, but much more in terms of we taking the gospel of Toastmasters, the ethics of Toastmasters out to the workplace,